on? Hello. It's Sherisse Marie, and I'm loving your feed, and I apologize in advance. I got some screaming kids out my window, so if they're really loud and you guys can hear them, I'm really sorry, but that's okay. We'll live with it, right? Right? Okay. Anyways, and my computer's blowing up, so I may have a few people going bing, 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 bing. Selling a couple things. Cleaning my house out some more. For those of you that don't remember this story, um, when I first realized I needed to make some big changes in my life, one of the first things that made me realize that was when I looked around and I couldn't see the house for the stuff. And I spent a whole year, 365 long days, taking a bag a day out of my house of assorted recycling, garbage, donation, just things that I got rid of, things that I sold. It was crazy how much stuff I had accumulated simply because I wasn't paying attention. I wasn't honoring who I was. I was living in fear and depression and being shut down and in survival mode. And I don't, ugh, blech. It was awful. 7 bags a week. I would go once a week to, at that point, I was doing Salvation Army. Hey, Callie, at Salvation Army once a week with 7 big black garbage bags. Plus, I was checking stuff out. Plus, I was recycling papers. Plus, I mean, seriously, it was crazy, crazy. Almost all of it was good junk, too, which makes it even worse. Like, I was hoarding all of this stuff, and I didn't need any of it. And now I still feel like I have too much, but it's really hard now to find anything else to get rid of. I've gone, okay, we went to the Value Village because now we only have Value Village left in town. We went to Value Village 5 weeks ago. 5 weeks ago, I think, was like the end of February somewhere. And we only had 3 little bags of stuff from since when we had moved. And since then, in a whole month and a bit, 5 weeks, I have found one dish rag that I recently purchased that apparently they bleed into the sink. So then my water goes, and they're beautiful, this beautiful red color. And so, I have these bloody rags, dish rags, that are turning my water red. And I am scared to death that I'm going to get one in with my whites and end up with pink socks for my 15-year-old kid. Oh my God. It is such a relief, right, Kelly? So it's crazy how easy it is to let ourselves get overwhelmed, to let ourselves feel like we are, I'm going to use a really scary, smart word, subsumed in stuff. We are drowning in it. And we really can't focus on anything other than treading water. And I'm here to tell you that there are other options. Absolutely. Grab the rope. Take the leap from the lion's mouth. I'm constantly on about that, I know. But anyways, the other piece of this is how you look at it. Now, when you're in that stuck, overwhelmed, feeling like you're drowning space, it's really hard to look at the glass that is your life and see it for what it really is. It's really hard to be positive about that glass and think, that is a beautiful glass. It's scary to take a drink from that glass for fear that there might not be any more left. Imagine that glass is your life, all of your lived experiences. You want to keep all the stuff in it, all the 7 bags of stuff a week for a year stuff. And then even still a whole whack more 2 more times, getting rid of it. You want to keep all that stuff because you're scared that the glass will empty. and that you won't have any more. That's why we do it. That's why we hang on to all of this stuff so freaking tight, is simply because we are scared that there will be no more. That's all there is. And we need to collect more and more and more and more of this stuff. Because otherwise, the world is going to be scary. Or we're just so damn depressed that we can't even think about taking a drink from that glass and emptying it out a little bit, because it just feels overwhelming. The idea, the task of that feels overwhelming. Where do you start? What piece of getting a drink of water out of the glass do you start with? Do you pick it up? Do you grab the straw? Do you make sure there's something in it? Do you put it to your lips? Do you take a suck? Do you slurp it down? What do you do first? When you're in that fight or flight space of feeling overwhelmed and shut down, it is really difficult to remember the order in which you do those things. Eek, gads, right? Oh. Now, here's the big secret, though. The big secret. It does take energy, but I'm going to tell you the secret to getting that energy, okay? You're going to laugh. Because, I mean, there is the story of, is the glass half full or half empty? But that is missing the point of the glass. It could be half full, it could be half empty, it doesn't matter. The glass is refillable. And I'm using the metaphor of the glass, but your life is refillable, your energy is refillable, your experiences are refillable. You don't get just a finite amount of them, you get the whole world of experiences, of loves, of laughs, of enjoyments, of excitements, confidence. You get all of that. The only thing that is required of you in order to get that is to make the decision to start where you are and do little teeny tiny baby steps. I am not advocating for wholesale transformation like that, because it's not going to stick. I mean, if you are I'm sorry, those hoarder shows, they bother me every time, because you know that the second that those people walk out of that hoarder's house and they've got it clean and gleaming and they've painted and they fixed the floors and they did whatever and it's safe, that person is just going to start hoarding again, because they haven't actually dealt with the problem. The problem isn't the stuff. It's not whether the glass is full or empty. The problem is your perception of things. The problem is the decision that you made inside your head about whether something was good or bad. The problem is the decision that you made inside your head that that was all there was and that you shouldn't expect more. You can't make room in your life for more because you may not get it. And so you have to hang on to all the things. And you have to be very gentle with all of those things because you may not have any more. And it's a lie. It's a lie that we tell ourselves because we're scared. Everything comes down to fear. Okay, there's two things that everything in life boils down to. It's either fear or love. It's either you are working in a fear-based parameter, you are looking for why you need to be scared of things, or you are working from the love-based parameter. I need more love. I want more love. I feel love. I want to share my love. And even the love has a fear base to it, doesn't it? The first ones that I said, I want more love. I need more love. I dream of love in my sleep. That is coming from a place of lack and fear. And the lack is, I don't feel like I have it right now. And the fear is, I am scared I will never have it again. I have to keep these things because they represent love. They represent the things that I am so incredibly drawn towards: self confidence, self esteem, a sense of self worth. They make my life have meaning. But here's the big secret: they don't really. I know. You're like, really? But that is the big secret. They don't actually have meaning. None of them. Not really. The things that we keep around us are just that. They are just things. They are not, in any way, shape, or form, our emotions. They are not our worth. They are not the only things that we deserve. We deserve more. We deserve the whole enchilada, not just the one little piece. But we can't get that if we're hanging on to crap. I mean, another really great example of this, okay, is absolutely feeling exhausted and overwhelmed by even the idea of letting go of things, of sorting things out, of figuring things out. And you know what you're mostly scared of when you get to that point? What you're honestly mostly scared of? You're scared of what you'll find. Oh, doesn't that hurt? Doesn't that get you in the feels? I know for me, I was terrified of what I thought I would find. I would find that my husband didn't love me. Yeah, he didn't. And I lived. I survived that experience. I survived realizing that. I was terrified that my marriage would end. It did. And guess what? It was okay. It was actually one of the best things that ever happened to me because it helped me stand on my own 2 feet. I was terrified that it would show that I was not worthy of love. And you know what? It didn't do that. That's the one that it didn't do. It showed me that I was more worthy than I could have ever imagined in my life, that I deserved love. I deserved self love. I deserved to feel like I mattered to me. It didn't matter what anybody else wanted or thought of me. It mattered what I wanted, what I thought of me. That was a game changer for me, an absolute game changer for me. That was my leap from the lion's mouth. Was that first day with that first garbage bag of stuff. And you know what made me decide that? Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you. I can't believe I'm going to tell you this. I haven't really shared what made me do this. It was, I couldn't see my kitchen counters anymore. I didn't have room to cook. I didn't have room to do anything. I just had stuff everywhere on my kitchen counters, in my kitchen counters, on the table, on the things, on the shelves, in the cabinets, everywhere. It was stuffed to the brim, that kitchen. And my kid was living like that. And I didn't want him to live like that. I did not want that for him. I realized that I was repeating a pattern. It was a pattern that had happened all while I was growing up. Um, our kitchen table. But it was the only place when I was growing up that was a mess. We never ate in the kitchen. We ate in the dining room. And the kitchen table was the junk repository. My parents didn't have a lot of space, but that kitchen table was where everything that they didn't know where to put or deal with or whatever got stuffed. It all ended up on the kitchen table. And every 6 months or so, it would be piled up like this, 3, 4 feet tall, and the chairs would have stuff all over them, and everything would be a mess. And my mom would go through and she would clean it all up and put everything away and deal with it. And ended up, most of it was usually garbage by the time it got looked at. And then for about 24 hours, the kitchen table would be cleaned off and the chairs would be cleaned off. And then it would be piled up again. And that was my lived experience. But I wasn't even doing that. I wasn't even cleaning it off every 6 months. I was simply letting it pile up higher and higher and higher and higher. And you know what that does to your self esteem? When you let things pile up like that, it really, really destroys your self esteem. When you are not dealing with things, when you are avoiding them, when you are actively choosing to wear the blinders and to not see all the stuff, whether it is physical stuff or emotional stuff or spiritual stuff or mental stuff, whatever the stuff is for you, if you are wearing blinders and not seeing the stuff, you are doing yourself a disservice. Right, Kelly? It's crazy. It's crazy. I had no room to cook either. I had the stove was cleaned off. So anything that I made, I had to do on the stove and then cook on the stove, and that was it. And my kitchen cabinets were so full that you couldn't put food in. It was atrocious. It was atrocious. And let me tell you, when I got to, it wasn't really until after we moved into the last house that it really started to feel a little less overwhelming, a little less, like at that point, I was getting a normal amount of recycling. And I wasn't having that much, I wasn't having enough garbage to fill the garbage can every month or every 2 weeks or every week or whatever. Um, and it felt good. It felt really, really good because it felt like I was worthy of care and attention again. It felt that was the first step for me towards reclaiming who I actually was and who I wanted to be, who I felt like I deserved to be. I didn't deserve to be that person who was living in a messy house with so much junk she couldn't properly feed and care for her child. I deserved to live in a house that had exactly the things that I needed and maybe a few more shoes than I needed. But aside from the shoe thing that I got going on, um, just enough stuff to make life happy, to make me happy, to make me feel like I was worthy of my own care and attention, that I deserved to be treated with respect. I deserved to be treated in a way that showed that I had value. I deserved to love my space. And by loving my space, I was showing myself love. And whatever that looks like for you. For me, that looked like paring down a lot and then paring down some more. And I'm still not done yet, but I'm really close. My basement still has a bunch of stuff in it that I'm like, but I want to keep all my camping stuff. But I couldn't fit it all in the car if I wanted to. So what do I actually need out of that camping stuff to keep? What are the things that are actually important for me to keep and what are not important for me to keep? That That is a very important question to ask yourself. What do I actually absolutely need to keep? What do I just want to keep? And what can I just dump and get rid of completely? When you know that, the world will be a much better place for you. I promise. I promise you. It will feel much, much better. And if you're struggling with this, then maybe it's time for us to work together. Maybe it's time for you to take that leap from the lion's mouth and say, I deserve more. I deserve more than to feel overwhelmed and exhausted and like I don't matter to myself, to other people, that I deserve to feel love, to feel true unconditional love. I deserve to feel like the flipping glass is refillable and I have the means to refill it. And it all starts with you. I can't do it for you. I wish I could, but I can't do it for you. I can walk beside you and give you all kinds of advice and awesome tools, but I can't do it for you. So I hope this has been very, very helpful for you. Thank you for coming to my tech talk. And if it does resonate with you, drop a comment down below because I would love to hear that I am not just talking into an echo chamber about my experiences, but that my experiences are similar to yours. Maybe they're not, but maybe you're kind of feeling like, oh yeah, I totally feel this one. I know, Kelly, right? Ugh. And when you know what? When you do make room, the most amazing things fill your cup. Oh boy, it's amazing. And then you find out it's refillable and you didn't need to hoard all of that junk because you could just find things that filled it up in a more healthy, wholesome, encouraging way, a more loving way. And you didn't have to feel all that fear anymore. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm out of here. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in this big, beautiful, amazing world. And we'll talk to you later. Bye, ladies. Ciao.